Alrighty guys, today I'm going to be working the gray horse, and I'm still trying to figure out this camera. I've been looking at footage and it just seems so shaky. There's not as much stabilization. I don't know, I may go back to the other camera. Trying to figure it out. Sorry if it's too shaky. Trying to do this, I'm doing a monopod thing here to where the camera's not moving around as much, and I need to learn to just kind of stand still. You'd think after 5 years I'd figure this out, but the GoPro was a lot easier to take and deal with. It had a lot of built-in stabilization. So I'm gonna get the gray horse out today. I'm going to work him, get him tied up, get everybody sprayed down with fly spray. We're taking today. I've got a couple meetings that I've got to go to. I've got a boy coming, supposed to clean out horse pens. I've got to take and break down and spend that money because I don't have time to do it, and it's not fair to these horses. So I'm going to have him come in and clean out the pens, and that's going to be a whole lot better for everybody, and it helps him out too, gives him a little extra money. So let me tell you what you think about this monopod deal. I'm going to try to do a lot more stationary where the camera's just sitting, shooting, and this monopod, and we'll see what happens. So I'm going to get after it. Okay guys, I got this gray horse out, and he went and kicked Duke. Don't want to get close to him there, boo. He might kick you. So wind's blowing a little bit, but I'm going to take him and work him. He's full of energy. He's been up in a pen. Try to get him kind of calmed down, then do some desensitizing with him and see what we can take and get done with him. I've been bit by ants 3 times down here. I'm getting sick of the ants, so I'm going to do something about them.
I start working horses the same way every time. I use the same techniques, but for different, not really techniques, but the same program, but I apply it differently. And some of these clips are pretty long, and I'll apologize for my head being stopped up. These stents are in my nose and having a hard time breathing. But as I first start to work this horse, what I'm looking for is for him to kind of give me his head and neck, and in light of what has happened to me here lately, I want to reiterate that it's very important when a horse is working for their head not to be to the outside. Their head needs to be coming to you. Their hip needs to be going away from you. So I'm working him here. He's really headstrong. My diagnosis of the horse is probably that he's been running around a round pen quite a bit. He acts like he's been just put in a round pen and run. Once you ask him to go, he goes 100 miles an hour, and he doesn't really pay attention to you. So he kind of zones you out and isn't given to pressure and doesn't respond to any type of body language. So every once in a while, I'll stop him real hard and say, hey, just pay attention here. He's really pulling on me. And everything that he communicates to me through body language tells me he would kick me. He has kicked out at me before. He will, turn his head. He'll throw all his weight into the rope and then kick at me. He gets better as we go. So those types of behaviors are generally learned behaviors that somebody has taught him. That let him get by with his pre-posturing and his body language. It's not what the horse actually does that counts as much as what they think they're telling you. So when a horse pre-postures and sets itself up to do what it wants to do, then in its mind, if that's not canceled, if that's not changed, then they think they're getting by with that in their mind. It's just like posturing on the schoolyard. The bully will take and act all big and bad and look angry, and then the person they're bullying will get scared, and the bully really doesn't have to take and do anything if the one they're bullying takes and reacts to the pre-posturing and the intimidation. And that's what horses do. They're always setting themselves up to do what they think is the best option. So this guy likes to posture, likes to pre-position himself. And every time they do that, that's directly connected to a thought. So what we have to do is not wait until the horse does something to try to correct it. We need to correct pre-posturing and the horse setting himself up to do things. You see here, he's really dragging on me, and I'm trying to change directions here a lot. And you can see he wants to just keep going that one way. He doesn't change brains real easily. So working with him here, I'm going to change directions with him a lot, get him to read that pressure, and you'll see he'll paw at it. He'll paw at that pressure. He wants to run through it, and that's what he thinks is the answer. So I just keep asking him here, and I want him to become more attentive to what I'm asking. See there, he pawed. He thinks if he attacks it and pushes through it, then he can take it, get away from the pressure. You see right there, he wants to turn his head away from me. He says, "I'll kick you if you keep asking me." And when I first started working with him, I worked him, and he started showing me signs that he would stop and balk, and just instead of just blowing up and going, he will reach a point where he will just shut down. So you have to be really attentive for that too, because once they shut down, you can't really teach them anything. And the whole session that you worked on, and probably everything you've worked on so far, or the majority of it, is really just a waste. So I really have to be attentive to that, and he'll shut down sometimes just kind of momentarily, and I'm pretty forceful with him. I'm putting a lot of pressure on him just because and I'm not hitting him with this rope. Occasionally I might swat him with it, but I'm putting a lot of pressure on him to take and get him to do what I want. And I'm just wanting his brain to become more balanced and to follow the feel of the rope and not fight it, and follow just my body language. So he's getting a little better. And when I take and I get after a horse with a rope or string or aid, whatever it is, it's not about getting the horse to go faster or to get away from me faster. It is about getting the horse into a better position. I'm wanting that hip away from me. And it's particularly hard when someone has taught a horse that pressure means go or pressure means go faster. Particularly a horse with this mindset. Some of this is learned, and some of this is just the nature of this horse. He's a go-y horse. He's a ball. In my opinion, he's a pretty extreme ball. Because once the pressure's on, he doesn't take and slow down. And like I say, if you put a lot of pressure on a ball, then all they know to do is go. And I think that's what's happened to this horse. Somebody's got him in a round pen, and they've run him around and around and around trying to tire him out. And that's just not the case with this horse. I think this horse has some and delusion in him, in his ancestry. He's a wild horse, come off the reservation, and I'm really looking for signs for him to take and just stop that forward motion and really pay attention to me. So here I'm putting a lot of pressure on the hindquarters, really pulling on his face, getting him to shut down. Sometimes they're like a 3-year-old kid who's hysterical, and you just got to get a hold of them and say, hey, you don't have to blow. You don't have to go. You can just shut down. So every little bit of pressure I put on this horse, he reacts to it. He's real reactive. And what I'm wanting him to do is respond and think about what I'm asking him to do. I'm not asking him to blow around me in circles at 100 miles an hour. I'm just asking him to go forward, give me his hip, give me his head, and yield. So here he's doing a little bit better. And I'd rather have a horse stop and start. A lot of people are, looking for, particularly this type of horse, people are looking for that fluid motion and wanting the horse to go. And if you got a sticky horse, like the one that kicked me in the face the other day, yeah, I want that horse to just move out and really be fluid and really go. That's a block. They need a different approach than a ball. So you have to take and use the same program, just apply it differently. You see here, he'll pre-position, and I'll use that stick to say, no, you're not going to push on me there. They're subtle moves. Horses don't make violent moves. Usually when a horse does something violent, they were telling us earlier, most of the time, that they were going to do something violent. Those subtle little signs are what you have to take, and you have to head off at the pass. So here, I'll ask him to drop his head. As I'm working on a horse, he's sweaty, he's been working. I'm really trying to get him to relax, and he's really high-headed. He's kind of got that U neck from running around with his head up. And I'm really trying to just get him to relax and calm down about what I'm doing now, and trying to show him a balance of, before we were going forward, before we were working, now I want you to relax. If you don't ever teach your horse to relax, and all you ever do, particularly a ball, if all you ever do is go, 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 then you're going to have an anxious horse. And what I want this horse to be is just quiet about me working him and coming in here. And if he takes and he puts pressure on me, if he, with his head, with his shoulder, you have to be real attentive to these type of horses. He has pawed at me. He's come into me. And if he acts like he's going to, then I'm going to put that pressure on him and push him away from me. Here, he just got kind of reactive. And I'm doing some big back and forth motions. And you can see he's just reactive to me moving this rope back and forth. A lot of times the horse gets anxious and starts trying to, just do something from the pressure, and they're not really paying attention. Then I'll just go back and forth, do something like this, and teach them, hey, every time I move this thing doesn't mean that you got to move your feet. I really want to establish that body language, that language where they learn that by watching me what I expect of them. And here in this beginning, I've worked this horse quite a bit, but he still doesn't really read body language. So I have to do stuff like that just to take and teach him a difference. This is just wild, out of control stuff here that doesn't mean anything, and then go back and do some stuff that is very articulate and very precise to teach him to move, because he really likes to move his feet. So here I'm just teaching him to yield his shoulder and move out of the way, and try not to have him be so reactive.
So as you can see, he's pretty reactive. I'm trying to work him through it. He's getting better, but this is going to be a long, hard road. He's really reactive. He's really goes on the offense. I have to be real careful with him because he will paw me. He'll spin and kick at you. Just little things that I'm real protective of, and I kind of keep in a safe place and keep myself on guard. Keeps it from happening, and I head it off before it happens. So I'm hot. Polly just got back with some hay. Gonna get that unloaded, get him tied up, let him dry off a little bit, get some fly spray on him. So hope you guys enjoyed that. Folks, we're getting some rain. I was going to work some more horses, but this rain has come in. We had a little bit of lunch. We ate some double cheeseburgers and had some folks out to take a look at doing some excavating for us. Tell you a little bit about that a little later, but nothing sounds better than rain on a tin roof, especially when you're in the desert. Alrighty folks, I'm going to take and end this video up right here. Remember to like, share, subscribe, tell your friends about us, and tune in next time to see what we take and get into next. Remember, if you don't know which way to go in this old world, commit your ways unto the Lord. Trust also in Him, and He'll bring it to pass. We'll see you later.